The Ryzen 9 5950X retails for $450. We just bought this whole entire gaming PC for just $550.
For just $100 more than the value of the CPU, we got an entire gaming PC. How is that possible? Is this a scam? We're about to find out, but first, a word from today's sponsor.
Today's video is brought to you by our friends at Teamgroup. Today we're taking a look at their Pro V30 U3A2 micro SD card with speeds of up to 160 megabytes per second read and 110 megabytes per second write, with support for USH1 speed class 3 and video speed class V30, making it perfect for continuous high bitrate 4K recordings, while also coming in capacities from 128 gigabytes all the way up to 1 terabyte. This SD card is absolutely perfect for content creators and those looking to easily upgrade their storage on their Steam Deck or other portable PCs like an Aya Neo. To learn more about this awesome SD card, check the link in the description down below, and big thanks again to Teamgroup for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into the video, shall we?
You ready to open up this really weird pairing?
Yeah, it's very weird. So it is a Ryzen 9 5950X, which is a 16-core 32-threaded processor, but it comes with a 1070 Ti, and it's inside a Thermaltake Core V21 case. And again, we paid $550 after shipping to get this thing to our door.
Yeah, and you know, don't be fooled, 1070 Ti, yes, older GPU, but it's not a bad GPU. There's a motherboard box up here. It's not a bad GPU. I mean, it performs similar to something like a 1660 Super, so it's not terrible. It already is missing the I/O shield.
Good start.
I don't know if that's something that's like listed or not, or if they even know that it's missing.
I know we were checking the reviews of this. This is from a relatively new seller, and a lot of them were like hit or miss. Some people saying they got like multiple of them and they worked great out of the box, and some people saying they didn't work. So there's a chance that both might happen, and I guess they gave us the boxes for the stuff that's in there, maybe?
For a few things, like we had the Hyper 212, X570M Pro, and then an 850 BQ.
Which I will say, if this is what's actually in there, just swapping
crazy.
the GPU out, this thing could be crazy good value.
Yeah. You have to buy a new graphics card, but...
Yes.
Okay, so this is actually a new case.
Oh yeah, so you do have a broken foot, I think.
Well, it's a refurb case
now. It's a
now.
refurb case. We might have to do some modifications to make that work, but...
Also, okay, so, yeah, we need to... There we go.
Here, now let's lift it back up.
All right, so far, the only things I see that's kind of alarming is just the missing I/O shield, but that's not like, you know, in make or break. It's really just aesthetic mostly. But yeah, we actually built in this case a couple times. The Ryzen 9 box is inside of the computer, I just realized.
It's so weird, because I would have thought, when I initially saw this, for some reason I thought mining rigs, but then I was like, 5950X, unless they're doing some sort of CPU-based mining or some sort of CPU-based just like server application, I don't understand why they would have a bunch of these or build a bunch of these.
It may be a seller who hasn't like shipped a ton of things. There's a lot of dust in here too, I'm noticing. Which
so, like,
could be
what were these being used for? It's so weird.
Yeah, no, that's dust. I mean, it's like a new case that we're like, maybe they just never took off the plastic, you know? Oh,
yeah.
What is the, okay.
What's this? We're just finding all these goodies inside the computer.
All right.
What is that?
God.
He's trying. He's real. Oh God.
Yeah.
There you go. What's in there? Yeah, we only have one stick of RAM. I am noticing that. That's kind of a major flaw.
Also, I'm noticing this graphics card. Look at the PCI lane. Look straight down into it.
It looks a little bent.
It's definitely.
it's either really bent or it's like just sagging really bad. I don't know. We'd have to make sure it works, but it looks more bent than sagging.
Man, they really did just like, they did not want to use any more packaging, so it's just, look, the cooler is crooked too. Okay, hold up, bro.
There's a lot going on here.
I'm holding it right. Like, it is definitely leaning down, right?
Yeah, it's definitely leaning down.
Also,
like it's.
Why'd they do the cable like this?
Wait, hold up. Let me fix it. I'm trying to figure out how it's crooked. It looks like it's bent this way, so I'm wondering if it just got like pushed. So far, I don't know, man. It's going kind of crazy.
I'm a little worried if it'll turn on. We're not going to do anything yet because that's kind of the point here is like we want to treat it like we're just a random person buying this.
Do we have DVI on there?
Yeah, so weird. I'm just like, I wonder if maybe this was like a local company got this in like a trade-in or something. It's just a weird, like it's a weird price.
It's weird because there were multiple of them. That's the freaky part, is like, this wasn't a one of one. I think there was like 10 plus of them, if I remember right. So it's like, one, did they get a bunch of CPUs randomly and just put together these systems at really cheap prices? Or did they get just these systems in bulk? Maybe there was like an office or something that used these for like workstations and then they just like sold off their entire inventory because they went out of business.
Maybe.
That could be something, but
it makes sense why it didn't have the I/O shield.
All right,
yes.
I guess we'll see if it turns on. I'm a little scared.
Oh, this actually is I think it is the EVGA power supply. I see the 850 logo.
So yeah, this all works. I mean, there is definitely some work that needs to be done, but it's a good starting point. Oh, wait. Oh, we're hippos.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in Ryzen 9 5950X. We have 4 gigs of RAM. That does not. I don't remember it only having 4 gigs of RAM.
Is there no operating system either?
There's no OS. It has 4 gigs of RAM.
So it's supposed to have no OS.
Let me check the full description. Let's see. All units are tested and fully functional. We have the 5950X. It does not say what RAM comes in it. We'll have this on screen so McAllister can see it, but 5950X, we have the power supply, we have the motherboard, but it does not say the amount of RAM. So we're definitely gonna have to upgrade that and add that to the cost, because 4 gigs makes 0 sense for a 5950X.
That would be a huge bottleneck for gaming in this build.
Oh wait, hold up, never mind. He spaced this out they spaced this out very weird. 4 gigs of RAM or more in some units. Units are prepped for shipping and cannot specify which units have more RAM.
So they were already like in the box. They're basically almost like in a way.
That makes more sense because if you look at this box, there was already a label like this right here.
Covered up.
There is one wherever the heck that went from Amazon. That could have just been the case box, but like, yeah, they definitely had another label underneath there.
And then they have one that's covered up.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, like, the story on these things. Like, were these like some like maybe pre-book company that were like refurb units or something? I don't know. This is tough.
So I guess what we're gonna go ahead and do is get Windows installed because we gotta go through that process, and then we'll go get some RAM from PC Bros. PC selling business. You gotta buy a PC today, and this one, once it's fixed up, will be for sale at PC Bros at a great price. But we'll get some RAM and then kind of test it in gaming and make sure it's functional. The main concern we have is with the graphics card because of that PCI slot being a bit damaged.
Also, hopefully the cooler's actually making good contact.
Yeah, as long as the cooler's making good contact. Again, we still have a 5950X, and technically we paid $100 for the rest of everything else. So it's a good starting point, but will it actually work when we get down to gaming? Let's find out. All right, guys, well, it's been a day, and of course, in Toasty Bros fashion, we missed something. The fact that this thing does not come with any storage. Yay. But you know what? Even with that in mind, storage and RAM are really affordable right now. So even then, I still think we're going to be good. But this is what I ended up going with. So what we have right here is a Silicon Power 1TB Gen 3 SSD. Now, yes, we could go Gen 4, but I want to keep this thing as budget friendly as possible. Silicon Power 1TB, that's about $35. RAM right here, we went with 16 gigs of Vulkan Z memory. So again, could have gone 32 gigs of memory if we wanted to. But I really think if we're going to keep this 1070 Ti in here, it doesn't need to be something super crazy in terms of RAM and storage, but if we were to go to, oh, I don't know, something like a 4070 Ti in this thing, then yeah, I would probably go like 32 gigs of DDR4 and whatnot. But for the sake of testing in this current configuration, and probably what we'll keep it at just for our sake, 16 gigs, and in total, that's another $67 that we added to this build. And originally, it was $550 after shipping, so in total, we are currently looking at $617 in total value, which again, if you still look for 5950Xs, they're about $450 new, so we got $617 minus 450 bucks. So for $617, we have a 1070 Ti, an X570 motherboard, a 1TB Gen 3 SSD, 16 gigs of RAM, a case, and a power supply. I'll be honest with you, I still think that's a really good deal, and I think this is still a really good basis for an upgradable system, especially if you want to go to a higher end GPU. So what we're gonna go ahead and do for our benchmarks is we're gonna slap in that RAM kit. We're gonna keep that SSD in there because it has Windows installed on it now. And also, I guess if you want to throw in an activation through GVG Mall, you'd probably be looking at like 15 or so bucks. So again, still under $200 for everything minus the CPU, which I think is a really good bang up deal overall. We're gonna have to do some cleanings and labor and stuff, but I still think we're gonna make out really good. So gonna add this RAM, gonna get into some games, we're gonna test it, and then kind of just talk about what we want to do this thing in the future, and probably, well, clean it up and make that footwork now because it's a little bit. Well, of course it wasn't gonna be that easy. I have some bad news. I think the GPU is having some issues, so let's see if it does it again. Well, the screen was on, but now it's flickering. Oh, there it is, it's on. All right, are we good? We good now? Nope, it's off again. I've been dealing with some weird things. I managed to run Cyberpunk, and I'll show the benchmark on screen, with the 1070 Ti, and it's not working great. Call of Duty Warzone also kept crashing over and over again. And the benchmark for Cyberpunk was surprisingly low, a lot lower than I expected. So I'm wondering if that GPU is a bit damaged with the PCI slot. Only thing I can really do is try swapping in a GPU, which I do have an idea for this system, by the way. We did get sent a RX 7700 XT that I have not had a use for yet. And the power color variant right here. Shout out to Power Color for sending this over. And I think we might switch to that and then kind of just change this whole narrative of the video to, okay, we got the 5950X with this system, but we're actually gonna make a system that makes sense with the 5950X and kind of utilize everything we still can. But I think that's my only hope right now, considering that this entire system is being incredibly buggy. I'm thinking I'm gonna swap out the graphics card and then try to game again, because so far, having some issues that I'm really pinpointing to that graphics card. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced this GPU is not doing too hot. We might have to test it in another system later, but I think for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and install the 7700 XT. It's starting to lose its overall value, especially if the GPU is damaged, and I'm wondering if we can get anything from the seller. I might just reach out for the sake of it and be like, hey, there's some GPU damage. Is there anything we can do about a partial refund? But based on how this is already at such a cheap price, I don't know how much they're actually gonna be willing to help, but it's worth a shot. So for context, look how bent that PCI slot is. My goodness, there's the straight on shot. Yeah, this is gonna have to be a later project to mess around with. Let's just go ahead and put this GPU in. That makes sense anyways. This is becoming a weird build now at this point. I will say this card does make this build look significantly cooler. Good thing the seller also included the extra power connectors, because I was able to plug one up pretty easily in that power supply basement right there. Cable management's a mess right now, obviously. We're gonna clean that up a bit more, but right now we're just gonna get the AMD drivers installed and then try to run the main games we're gonna test again, and then go from there, and then do a cost breakdown at the end of the benchmark run, because we're having to spend some money here, ladies and gentlemen. We're having to throw in a 7700 XT. We're having to add the RAM, some storage. So realistically, all that we got that was working is the case, the cooler, the CPU, the motherboard, and the power supply. And was all of that worth $500? It's starting to be less of a deal in my opinion, but we'll see what the math says once we get to the end. All right, gamers, we're actually in a game, believe it or not, after all that. So we have the 7700 XT. Shout out to Power Color for sending this card over. Really awesome card, by the way. I love the 3-fan design with the blue LEDs. Love the overall look of it and everything. The performance is pretty good so far. And we're currently running 1440p, because it is a 1440p GPU. But we are taking advantage of FSR 2.1, running on the balanced preset. And in warm-up, we're getting 120 to 130 FPS. Doing the calculations at this point, let me pull out my little handy dandy notes here. To this point, we are in $1,068 with this entire system. And after I finish this benchmark, I'll go ahead and talk about the value proposition, because that number may sound pretty bad, but once you actually look at the price of everything that we got that's functional, it's not awful, but we start to get the debate of, should I have just bought a new 7000 series CPU, like a Ryzen 7 7700X instead? Oh, are you? Yeah, nice try, buddy. Oh, I thought I was gonna go down from that guy with the pistol. Oh! I'm scared though. Someone's gonna be coming after me. How do I get inside? Ah! But hey, 1440p running good. I will say, the CPU, the 5950X, not happy with the Hyper 212. And also the Hyper 212 is still a little bit bent. Towards the end of the video, what we're gonna do is go ahead and take that off and try to bend it back and see if we can fix things up. Because again, we're gonna have a section here, we're gonna really clean this thing up. Because right now it's in very much a test bench stage. I would not consider it a completed build. But then from there, oh, hello. Oh, I just got flashed. But then from there, we should have a really solid build. But again, the question is, should you still consider this a good deal if half the stuff doesn't work? Again, it was kind of a buyer beware situation when you bought this. I am still gonna reach out to the seller, because it is currently Sunday, and I'm gonna see before Monday morning when we finish up this video if I'll hear back from the seller to see if we can get any bit of a partial refund for the GPU showing up as defective as it is, because everything was tested, even though it is still a good deal, everything was tested to be working, so maybe we can get a partial refund on this thing, but we'll see how that seller actually works out, and then we would increase the value here. But the real question is, maybe you should have just gone 7000 series, especially if your GPU shows up defective. But if everything shows up correctly, then everything's a great deal. But the fact that we had some issues make it a so-so deal. Ah! Gotcha, buddy! Oh, I'm being tracked now. God dang it. Oh, hello. Oh, that guy choked so hard. Ah! How did that not kill him? And also the 5950X is not nearly as good of a gaming CPU as a new 7000 series like 7700X. Even though the cores are severely less, it's not nearly as good of a gaming CPU. So at that point, if you're just a pure gamer, you definitely would rather go the 700X instead of going with this used deal. Oh, where'd he go? Is he hiding behind that crate? Oh, I messed that guy up. Oh no, am I not gonna get him? Oh man. I think it's the same guy I've been bullying. Ah! Oh god! Oh, that scared the crap out of me. Ah! Come here! Come here! Oh god dang it. I'm actually gonna resurge again? Come on, I didn't want to resurge again. Yes! Oh God! Dude, this game just never gonna end. McAllister, you can't complain about having kills with this one. Okay, I think that's it for me finally. Is that it? All right, that's it. Let's try some Halo Infinite with Jackson, why don't we? And just see what happens there, but yeah, the value proposition, it's up for debate.
All right, guys, we're playing Halo Infinite, and we're kind of switching it up. We're doing the 7600 XT at a field of view of 110, because that's what I like to play at. 1440p in a medium quality preset. Pretty demanding game, by the way, but they have optimized it quite a bit.
Definitely go high, especially with we're getting 130 FPS. That's pretty good.
I try to keep that high refresh rate for now. But yeah, if we went high settings, I think this thing would have no problems playing it at like higher settings. We're playing quick play.
Quick play, baby. Yeah, as you can tell, the CPU is running a bit cooler than it was. I was able to bend back that cooler that was having issues, so I think it's now making full contact with that CPU. We still haven't done like a full cleaning and cable management of it yet, but with the 7700 XT and the 5950X, the pairing makes, I would say, a lot more sense. You can still go higher in with the GPU, but I think this makes more sense compared to a 1070 Ti, even though unfortunately it doesn't work. Oh. Ooh. Double kill.
All right, I don't think I lost it.
I haven't seen this map.
Go.
This is double kill, triple kill territory.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Oh no.
No, not my first step,
Oh.
please. Oh god, there's a grenade coming. What? Oh god, I'm losing it, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It keeps that thing on.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Ah.
Oh
Your first
no, I died!
death. No. Only 2 more kills. 1 more kill. This is you. Yeah.
I almost feel like Halo was like more known for teabagging than Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that guy. But yeah, guys, that ran really good at 1440p. We gotta try another game to see how it runs.
Yeah, we're on some built-in benchmarks, talk about the value of this PC and just kind of if it was a good deal after all. If we got the GPU, I think it would have been a no-brainer good deal, but after the GPU is not working, we're still waiting on a partial refund message. I don't really know. Let's run those benchmarks.
All right, guys, well, we just got done benchmarking this PC, and this video kind of took a little bit of a turn because obviously the benchmarks were going to be a lot worse than they were. Not that the 1070 Ti was a bad card, but in our case, it showed up as a literal bad card. So we did have to throw in the 7700 XT, which really makes this build with the bad 1070 Ti and all the other money we put into it a little over $1,000, which is decent for the price. Obviously, you could build something for probably around the same price, maybe a little bit more, so we still got kind of a deal. The main takeaway here is eBay. eBay can be really good for getting great deals and things, but it can also be bad because of course you may get some bad parts, but we're hoping that this seller right here will give us a partial refund, because if we can get even like $100, whatever a 1070 Ti is worth used, that would really make this build have some amazing bang for buck.
And yeah, the value of all the working parts in the system, if we're going on normal MSRPs, is around $786, which is still way more, to be exact, $236 more than what we paid. So So we save money there, and if we get $100 back, that's $336 that we saved in terms of buying it all new. But then it all comes down to, would you rather buy something else? As in going like 7000 series with a Ryzen 7 CPU, and the cost of that would be close to the same. So if you're buying off the street, building a brand new PC with a 7700 XT, unless you find this deal again, it might not be worth it. You're better off building something new, but it is cool to see that these deals do exist on eBay if you do hunt around. If you want to do that yourself, check the links in the description down below and let us know what you think of this deal. Did we actually get a deal, or do you think it was more or less a break-even kind of situation?
So we hope you guys enjoyed today's little experimental video. If you did, check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
Peace out. So now that we got this PC nice and fixed up, we've had to do quite a bit of fixing and cleaning, and of course, we benchmarked it. It comes with a fresh install of Windows and everything. It'll be for sale at PCBros.tech.
PCBros.tech, gaming PCs, gaming laptops, and so much more. Use code ToastyBros200 and check out to save 2% on your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.
Peace out.